Welcome to Shri Radha Govinda Temple. You see the beautiful costumes and the darshan of Shri Radha Govinda. And today we are having a very special offering. And this offering is sponsored by Sati Dharma, and this is done in memory of Bhagwan-dāsa Ramakrishna, and he was the eldest of 9 children. He was born on May 23rd, 1951 in Georgetown, Guyana, and he left his body and went back to Godhead on April 1st, 2020 in Toronto, where he resided. So please join the prayers. Usually we read Bhagavad-gītā, and we'll be reading that starting soon. We are just waiting to chant a bhajan because Srila Prabhupada established a tradition in ISKCON that we must sing a particular bhajan which is suitable for that particular event and get the blessing from Shri Radha Govinda. So we'll be chanting Jai Radha Madhav Kunja-bihārī. Please join with me. Jai Radha Madhav Kunja-bihārī, Jai Radha Madhav Kunja-bihārī, Gopijan Vallabha Girivardhari, Gopijan Vallabha Girivardhari, Jashodanandan Vrajajan Ranjan, Jashodanandan Vrajajan Ranjan, Jamuna Tira Vanachari, Jamuna Tira Vanachari, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja-bihārī, Jai Radha Madhava Kunja-bihārī. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda Radhe, Jai Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda Radhe, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtottara Sata Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrunda की जय, नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासिद्धि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। अंतर्द्वि मायापुर धाम की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, समावेत भक्त वृंद की जय, गौ प्रेमानंदे, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. So, we are reading from Bhagavad-gītā as it is. And we have selected a beautiful verse suitable to this particular event. That verse is from chapter number 2, text number 11. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. So, as you see, in the whole first chapter, either Sanjay is talking or Arjuna is expressing his worries. But this is the first time you will see that Lord Krishna gets involved and he starts speaking now. So, this is a very auspicious verse, because it starts with Bhagavan Uvaj. So, it says, Ashochan anvashocastvam prajñavādāśubhāsase gatāsūna gatāsūṣca nānu shocanti panditā. Ashochan anvashocastvam prajñavādāśubhāsase gatasan gatasunṣca nānu shocanti panditā. So, Srila Prabhupada is so merciful that there's all these 700 verses in Srimad Bhagavad-gītā as it is. Every word, what it means, he has translated, word by word translation. Then again he gives the translation of that whole verse. And again he is explaining that to us in a very simple way and a right way. So, what we just read in Sanskrit and what it means in English, Srila Prabhupada has given us word-to-word translation. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Ashochan, not virtue of lamentation, Anvashochansta, you are lamenting, Tvam, you. Prajñavādāna means learned talks, Cha means also, Bhāshase, speaking, Gata, lost, Asuna, life, Agata, not past. Asun, life, Cha, also, Na, never. Anushochanti, lament, Panditaha, the learned. So, this was the word-to-word translation. Now he gives the translation of that whole verse. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. So, Mataji is right here, Saraswati, and I will repeat it for you, very plain, simple English. And Srila Prabhupada says, the translation of that verse is, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Now, why Lord Sri Krishna started with this kind of sentence? So, purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. The Lord at once took the position of the teacher and chastised the student, calling him indirectly a fool. The Lord said, you are talking like a learned man, but you do not know that one who is learned, one who knows what is body and what is soul, does not lament for any stage of body, neither in the living nor in the dead condition. As explained in later chapter, it will be clear that knowledge means to know matter and spirit and the controller of both. Arjuna argued that religious principles should be given more importance than politics or sociology. But he did not know that knowledge of matter, soul and the supreme is even more important than religious formalities. And because he was lacking in the knowledge, he should not have posed himself as a very learned man. As he did not happen to be a very learned man, he was consequently lamenting for something which was unworthy of lamentation. The body is born and is destined to be vanquished today or tomorrow. Therefore, the body is not as important as the soul. One who knows this is actually learned, and for him there is no cause for lamentation, regardless of condition of the material body. So, Lord Sri Krishna is trying to advise Arjuna because he was lamenting. This particular program that we are doing is to reach out to societies and the suffering souls. I have seen people almost 3 times a week, and last time the person who is, or he was actually, because of pandemic, a lot of changes are there. But I have seen that person and he's like a lion. If you break the law, he can kill. He's so strong, man. But somehow he heard that his father passed away. And I called him and I said, don't worry, we will read Bhagavad-gītā in his memory. He was sitting right here, and the tears were coming out of his eyes insistently. I could not believe. Person who is like a lion, is doing security like day and night, right? No fear, body built like a stone man, you know. But as Krishna took away his father, he became like a little cat, you know, sitting here and crying. And after the class was finished, he was so happy, and he went home as if nothing had happened. So these kind of programs always help. It doesn't have to be a sad occasion. There are also some auspicious occasions like birthdays, marriage anniversary, entering new home. All kinds of happenings are there. But when it happens, people think of Krishna and we encourage him. If someone, like here in this case, Mataji's brother, he left last year on 1st of April 2020. So, naturally, just like I mentioned about the person, Mataji is also here. And all these people who they come and attend the program in memory, and they sponsor the feast, the Rajbhog. Also, Sandhya Arti we will have offering. Behalf of that family, we will also be chanting a resolution and offer the Arti to Radha Govinda, behalf of the sponsorer. So, since morning to night, everything is dedicated to them, and they get the credit for that. But when you happen to talk to these people, when you look at their faces, the state of extreme dejection you can figure out right away from their faces. Suffering with overpowering sentiments. Naturally, the brother and sister relationship, right? Like Yamuna Devi and Yamaraja. We have festivity, one day is dedicated when the sister is tying a knot on the right hand of the brother and protects the brother. And the brother will give sister some sweets, some sari or gifts and all that. So last year it was like in August, and this is known as the Raksha Bandhan, means a protection from the sister to brother. And same way, the brother is trying to protect sister, sister is trying to protect the brother. So Yamuna Maharani tied a knot to Yamaraja. Just think, the person who kills everybody, right? The death personification. At the time of death, he comes to every living entity and he says, come on, let's go, come on, let's go, right? He needs the protection also. And Yamuna Maharani gives the protection to Yamaraja. This is the story behind this Raksha Bandhan. So, family, every member of the family are completely taken up by the faint-hearted and perplexity due to compassion for relatives and the loved one who has departed. The disturbed eyes giving out profuse tears. Bhakti Charu Maharaj, before he left his body, he gave a last class lecture in which he was describing the last moments of Srila Prabhupada. The person from Ramanujacharya Sampradaya on Vaidya, Damodar Das, he was treating Srila Prabhupada. And he warned the devotees that your spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, is not going to be here more than 14 hours. And the whole world, everybody came to Vrindavan to see Srila Prabhupada in those 14 hours. Those who could be accommodated in the room, they were there. Those who could not be, they stood in the corridors, on the stairs, in bathrooms, all over the temple and residences. It was packed. And Prabhupada left his body. Bhakti Charu Maharaj describes that there was one Mataji sitting near Srila Prabhupada's bed when he left the body. And when he looked at the Mataji, she had become like a stone statue. No movements, whatever, not even flickering of eyes. But at the same time, when you punch a hole through a water pot, and just like the water will drip, similarly, the tears, the flow of tears were coming out of her eyes, and incessantly, no stoppage. Like a Niagara Falls, you could see the woman was just crying without sobbing or making any noise or any kind of movement or anything, just expressing her sorrows through the tears. So this is the situation, that commiseration for the relatives or the loved ones is a terrible thing to face. Deeply merged in grief and taken over by heaviness of heart and low spirits due to infatuations, they are subjected to depression of mood not worthy of. They are overcome by unmanliness. They are overwhelmed by pity and compassion and pain, dejection of heart. Mind wholly incapable of ascertaining what is virtue and what is vice. They are under pressure that mind and brain simply stops working, and they are not able to judge properly. There is loss of judgment, and that's why they are incapable of ascertaining what is good and what is bad, what is virtue and what is vice. They are puzzled and confused about everything around. This is a stage when someone that you love is living this mortal world. Although we know, but we cannot control. And that's good, because that shows that we love him. There is a Skanda Purana and there is a Riva Khand, in which there is a story of a woman who belonged to a mercantile class, and someone that she loves sent a message and says, I'm coming by the boat. So here in the scripture it says that she goes to the ocean and she sees the boat and she wants to celebrate. She's very happy. Oh my God, I'll see him after so many years. And suddenly she sees the same boat sinking in the water. And she was sure there is no way he can be saved. Nobody can save him. The boat is sinking. So what she did? The scripture says, Tatakalavati kanya naste swamini dukhita gurhitva padukam tasya anugantu cha mahodade. She takes the sandals and then she decides to kill herself, to die after him. She wants to give up her life. When Dhritarashtra in his last hours was meditating, the fire came out of his skull and consumed all the body of Dhritarashtra. This is a yoga process in how to live your soul or body. So that's what Dhritarashtra did. And Gandhari and Dhritarashtra is a little cottage made out of tree, woods and trunks and all that. And that cottage also catch up with the fire. Gandhari was outside. She was also blindfolded, she could not see. But she could see or she could feel that heat from the fire. And she understood right away that that's it. My husband left me. So with the folded hand, she's approaching the cottage and she's entering the fire, and she was consumed by the fire. For Gandhari, there was no reason to leave anymore, not even a single moment. As soon as she sensed the fire, she entered the cottage, burning cottage, and she left the body. So, this is, they call it a Sati Dharma. The language of scripture justifies the religion all the time. That is why there is a provision of Sati Dharma. When people have so much love for someone that they love, they just give up their body. But this Sati Dharma cannot be performed. It cannot be performed without total helplessness and detachment arising out of suicidal status. There should be total detachment. That there is nothing else left it for me. Whatever I had, I lost him or her. Could be your son, could be your father, you could be a mother, husband or wife, friend, whatever. But that's your life and soul, then it says that there is no any reason to stick around this material world anymore. So, this kind of things happen and people are giving up their lives sometimes. But Lord Shri Krishna doesn't encourage that, or he doesn't even entertain those rituals or social customs. And that is why in this kind of case what we do, that we offer this particular Bhagavad-gītā and try to reach out the families. There is a Chinese story. There was a king in China and he was sleeping. He was a great king, and while he was sleeping, somehow, coincidentally, he had a dream. And in his dream, he saw that he married to a beautiful girl and they had a child, and they named the child certain name, whatever, and he grew up, and one day that boy died. So he was so much miserable even while in sleep that he started pouring the tears in his eyes while he was sleeping, and was crying in the sleep and really suffering, as if that was not a dream, it was a real thing. Suddenly he heard the knocks on the door. Somebody woke him up, and that was the security guard. So in the middle of the night, when I was seeing this dream, all of a sudden he woke up and realized that was a dream. With the still eyes were wet, and he went to the door. And there was a security guard, and he said, "I'm sorry to bother you, but your only son died." So the king, he looks at the security guard and he said, "Will you please answer me a question?" He said, "Question? What?" He says, I was just dreaming that I was a great king and I got married and we had a child and we raised him and we loved him so much. And that child died. My son died. And look, I was crying in my dream. And now you say your real son, right? The only son passed away. You are bringing me the news. Now you tell me, who should I be crying for? Should I cry for my dream child or my real child in my real life? I say, I don't understand what is real and what is dream anymore. Please. He was holding hands of the security guard and trying to get the answer. Same thing which happened with Janaka Raja. Janaka Raja saw the dream and everything that he had, it burned down to ashes. And then he was on the sidewalk and was trying to beg from the people, may I have a quarter, may I have a quarter. Nobody will give him anything. He didn't have any grain to eat, nothing to cover his body, no money, nothing. And nobody gave him even anything. The dream was gone because it was a morning time and he woke up, washed his face, and he went to his spiritual master. He said, I must see my spiritual master because I had a dream and it was miserable. And I really suffered whole night, begging, begging, begging. So his spiritual master's name was Astavakra. So he went to Astavakra and he says, Gurudev, I have a question. Astavakra says, what? He says, are dreams real or not real? Tell me. So Astavakra says, as long as you are sleeping, it is real. But once you wake up, it's no longer real. He said, what happened? Tell me. So he says, I had a dream and I lost everything. And I was miserable and I was begging. No one gave me, no one helped me anything. There were terrible moments of my life, he says. I cannot even talk about it anymore. It was such a terrible dream. I had to go through the whole night. I was suffering. Thank God for the morning that I woke up, but I came to you right away. So Astavakra says, yes, now you woke up. So those dreams were dreams. Now they are no longer real. But they were real because they could affect you. They affect your thoughts, the whole body system, mind, sorrow and pain and whatever you should be experiencing, the tears in your eyes and screams in the middle of the night. And everything was real, perspiring your body and whatever you went through, it was all real while you were even sleeping. So dream has that effect, that they were real while you were sleeping. But if you wake up, then no more pain, no more sorrows, nothing to beg about, you are a king. Now you have come back to normal. So Janaka Raja got this lesson from the Guru. Then he went to take a bath. You see this sequence, the scriptures are giving such a beautiful stories here, just to convince us, so that we can understand our own life. So Janaka Raja is going to take a bath, And then two soldiers are coming on a horse. And say, Rajan, please look. Janaka Raja looks at them and this points at the skyline of Mithila. That's his city. And he says, Raja, this whole Mithila is burning. As if you look at the World Trade Center bombarding and see the smoke coming from the skyscrapers and falling down. 6,000 people got killed, right? And Janaka Raja was looking at the skyline of Mithila. Exactly same thing happened over there. Somehow, accidentally, whatever happened, the fire started and it started taking one building, two buildings, three buildings, And the whole Mithila was burning. So he looked. And then again he took some water from the river and then looked at the sun and he just went back to his normal Gayatri. Om Deya Sada Satmarti Narayana Sarjiyasana Mr. Keyurvamkar Kundala Vankiriti Hari Hiranyamaya Durparshan Chakraha Adityaya Namam Bhanave Namam Bhaskaraya Namam Suryaya Namam Divakaraya Namam. The guard says, what are you doing, king? The city is burning. Janaka Raja says, yes, I see the city is burning. Nachame kinchati dahyati. He says, once my guru told me it's all dream. Nachame dahyati kinchita. Mithilayam pradityam. Yes, I see the Mithila is burning, but there is nothing that belongs to me. Because as soon as I came back from my spiritual master, I look at my wife and I know it's a dream. I look at my children I saw and I say that these are the dreams. My palace is a dream. My bed is a dream. My citizens are dream. Everything is going to be taken away. Except Krishna, everything is dream. So why should I lament? Mithilayam parityam nachame dahyati kinchita. There is nothing that's burning, or there is nothing that belongs to me from what is burning. So I have not lost anything. Right? So this is the thing. Krishna, that's why says that in the eyes of the wise man, God, who is an embodiment of truth, knowledge and bliss, Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Satchit Ananda. That's why it says the truth, knowledge and bliss. Anadi Adi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of all the causes. He is the only abiding reality and nothing exists apart from him. Whatever you see is Krishna. And even everything goes away. What is left is Krishna. So there is nothing but Krishna. So, he is the self of all and is absolutely indestructible. You cannot destroy him. Whereas the bodies are transient and cannot stay. It's like you cook some rice. How many days can you keep? Someday you will have to just throw it away. So that's what it is. That's happening with our body. That our body is also actually made out of the things that like cannot stay too much. Earth, water, fire, ether, air. It's like Srila Prabhupada's last days. Bhakti Charu Maharaj touched him and he said, Prabhupada, you lost so much weight. What happened? So he says, yes, this body is not longer as it used to be. What is left is set of bones in a bag of skin. Srila Prabhupada, describing his own body at the end of the day, in the last hours, that this body, which was full with muscles and, vitality, now everything is gone. What is left is set of bones in a bag of skins. So, bodies are transient and cannot stay. The association of the body and the soul, and the separation of body and soul, though inevitable from worldly point of view, are only imaginary as a dream. Under such circumstances, for whom we should grieve and why? All contact and separation are transitory by nature, and both pleasure and pain arising from them should be avoided. Now, if I show you what we are reading from, this is a Bhagavad-gītā as it is, as you may have seen this. And normally when somebody is asked to see, we start from the book, open the book and then read. But we should be reading these scriptures from the cover page. See, this is a very authentic cover page. This cover page has some background, some history, some scriptures supporting this art. Why? Because it is taken from the Upanishad. And I will show you that particular Upanishad is known as a Kathop Upanishad. Kathop Upanishad. So, in Kathop Upanishad, it describes this particular body as a chariot. And the body is a chariot, the passenger is Arjuna. He is known as ego. You can also say soul, but the soul doesn't do anything, except makes a living. But it's the ego that triggers all kind of activities. So in this case, the Upanishad calls one who lives in the body is ego. In whatever activities you do, whatever you need to either books or kartal or anything, cutting the vegetable with a knife, whatever activities you are doing, that is the paraphernalias which helps us doing the egocentric activities. So in this picture you see the Arjuna has a Gandiva in his hand, the Dhanush, right? The bow and arrow, that's Gandiva. And right before the verse that we were reading, what Arjuna did, that he put away that Gandiva aside. What it means? He renounced from the activities that ego wanted him to do, right? And you see Krishna. Krishna is an intellect, and he has the reins, the ropes. He ties the horses with that. He controls the horses with that. Lagam, they call it, reins. That's the mind. And horses are the senses. So it's a beautiful picture here that Katha Upanishad said the horses are the senses. They are running away. They're all excited because they see the sense objects. So that's what happening. When we see some beautiful gulab jamun or rasgulla around, we want to go and have it. Why? Because we want it. Why we want it? Because our senses want it. Sanjayate kama. And if you don't get it, what happens? Kamat krodham abhijayate. Then we become angry. Krodhat bhavati sambhoha. And if nothing happens even after we become angry, then we go into delusion. Right? And then finally, buddhinashaha. That will kill our intelligence. So, this is what it is. The horses are the senses. Those reins, that's mind. Krishna is intellect. Arjuna is ego. Gandiva is egocentric activities or the paraphernalias to perform those activities. And finally, the chariot itself, where everybody is connected, that chariot is known as a body. So, Ishopanishad is giving beautiful example of this thing. And now, if you start reading, when ego, Arjuna, in its dejection sits back in the body, chariot, throwing up all instruments of activities, Gandiva, and when the sense organs, the white horses, are held back well under control by pulling the reins, right? Mind, then the charioteer, the pure intellect, shall guide the ego to divine strength and to ultimately success over forces of adharma with the help of those of dharma, even though the former may be the greater than the latter. This is interesting because here you see in the picture there are armies. One army belongs to Kaurava, other belongs to Pandava. So, the Pandavas are dharma. Here we see this. They are religious people. And whatever share they want is nothing illegal they are asking for. And all the Kauravas, they just want to grab it without caring for any kind of laws and order of the society. So, what happened? That here is a comparison between dharma and adharma, right? Between Kaurava and Pandava. And they said, it's possible that irreligion may be more powerful than the religion. And that's why even in the scripture, the Kaurava's army was more than 1.5 times of Pandava's army. The army is measured into, they call it Akshohini. Akshohini means 1 mixed unit of army. Now let me explain you how many Pandavas had and how many Kauravas had. They are fixed numbers. The mixed unit of army is 21,870 chariots. When you are like, this is one chariot, right? Whatever is here, there were 21,870 chariots. Simply in one unit we are talking about, we are not talking about all units. One unit with 21,870 chariots. There will be 21,870 elephants. Just like here we have chariot driver and the passenger. Similarly, elephants also they have a driver and the person behind him. 65,610 horses. There will be a person who is driving the horse and person who is sitting in the palki, right? And then 109,350 people, they walk on the foot. These are the people who do not have any kind of horse or elephant or chariots, but they fight on the foot, they walk on the foot, they run on the foot, and they are all over. And the number is 109,350 on foot. So when you divide or multiply by 7, that number comes as Pandava's army. Whatever I said here, you multiply by 7. It comes in millions. And then when you multiply by 11, that becomes Kaurava's army. So millions of people were there on the army. Though numerically small, Pandava's army appeared huge because of his adoption of military array known as Vajravyuha. The way they arranged Pandavas, it looked like a big ocean. Although Duryodhana's army was much greater, but it looked small. Duryodhana appealed to Dronacharya to devise some means of getting the best out of whatever is there. And he says, we are more stronger because we are time and a half more than the Pandavas. So this is the condition, and still it was such a big challenge for Lord Sri Krishna to pull Arjuna out of him, out of this mental condition, and try to help him, prepare him, and get back in the mood of fighting. Last time something went wrong with the technical, some difficulties, and we could not finish. But the subject is the same. And what we started doing is, we started reading from Sharanagati, which is written by Bhaktivedanta Swami, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So you see, we have Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, Gaur Kishore Babaji, and then the final last picture you see is Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So in Guru Parampara, we have this one. And when he wrote this Sharanagati, we were talking about it, reading out of it, and few of these prayers that he wrote for this particular purpose of this kind of event, which will make us understand what to do now. What can you do? Mirabai, when everybody left her, the father, the mother, the brother, the sister, and husband, and friends even. That time she sang, Mere to Giridhar Gopal. Leave. The whole world can leave me. But Mere to Giridhar Gopal. Right? My Krishna is there. And so I don't need anybody. This is how she survived the rest of the days when the whole world left. Right? So here in a Sharanagati, the same kind of mood is expressed. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakurji, he is just saying that mind, body and family, whatever may be mine, I have surrendered it at the lotus feet of son of Nanda. Son of Nanda is Krishna. He is advising that in good fortune or in bad, he specifically mentions in life of a death, all my difficulties have disappeared by choosing those feet of yours as my only shelter. Right? It's a matter of life, it's fine, I'm with Krishna. If it's the news of death, I'm with Krishna. So this is how the devotees, the staunch devotees of Sri Krishna, never leaves the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna. And that's why he sings in the vertical bhajan. It's like this. मानस देहो गेहूं जो कीच मोर अर्पिलु तू आपदे नंद किशोर मानस देहो गेहूं जो कीच मोर अर्पिलु तू आपद नंद किशोर संपद विपद जीवन मरण संपद विपद जीवन मरण दाय माम गेला तुआ उपद बरणे दाय माम गेला तुआ उपद बरण मान सदे हो गहूं जो कीचु मोर अर्पिलु तू आपद नंद किशोर मारो भी राखो भी जो इच्छा तुम्हारा मारो भी राखो भी जो इच्छा तुम्हारा नित्य दास प्रति तू अधिकारा नित्य दास प्रति तू अधिकार मान सदे हो गेहूं जो कीचु मोर अर्पिलु तू आपद नंद किशोर slay me or protect me as you wish, for you are the master of your eternal servant. We live, we die, we don't care. It's all up to Krishna. Rakhe Krishna mare kaun, mare Krishna rakhe kaun. As long as Krishna wants us, nobody can kill us. Here we have a picture of Narasimha Bhagavan. You see the pure devotee of Lord Sri Narasimha. Bharat Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj is standing right there at the lotus feet of Narasimha with the folded hands. So this Prahlad Maharaj, his father wanted to kill him, right? And he was not able to kill. So these are the examples. Mare Krishna rakhe kaun. And if Krishna wants to kill you, then you will die in your bed. You won't even know that you are dying. None of your family members will ever know that you are dying. He will come in a form of Yamaraja, take you away. So again, Bhakti Vinod Thakur continues that Janmo bimoye ichha jari tora Janmo bimoye ichha jari tora Bhakti gruhe jani Janma ho mora Bhakti gruhe jani Janma ho mora Man sade ho gehu जो किछु मोर अर्पिल तुआपद नंद किशोर. If it is your will that I be born again, then may it be in the home of your devotee. So all we have to do is Shushinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrasth Abhijayate. Whatever days that we have in our hands, we have to try to cultivate Krishna consciousness. And if the day comes and Krishna comes and takes us away, then Krishna is promising that I will give you a beautiful birth in a house of a devotee. So you can continue practicing Krishna consciousness. So this is a very beautiful bhajan that we have selected, written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Then he says, Keet janam ho jatha tu adasa, Keet janam ho jatha tu adasa, Bahirmukh Brahma janam nahi asa, Bahirmukh Brahma janam nahi asa, Mar sad ho gehu jo kichu mor arpilu tu aapada nand kishore. May I be born again, even as a worm, so long as I may remain your devotee. I have no desire to be born as a Brahma, averse to you. So, the devotees are simple. Actually, practically, they have no desire except achieving lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna. As long as they are given a chance to serve Krishna, like right now, with the blessings of Mother Saraswati, we are offering the Bhoga to Lord Shri Radha Krishna. And that's a service. Now, once that service is finished, we will be offering Aarti. That is a service also. Singing is a service, playing Mridanga or Kartal, that's a service. Preaching, reading from Bhagavad-gītā or bowing down. Just coming to the temple even itself is a service. And that's all the devotees are concerned. That's why here Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that I have no desire to be born as a Brahma. The highest position in this material world is Lord Brahma. Who would not like to be Lord Brahma, right? Everybody wants to be president of the country, the mayor of the state, the governor of the state and all the kind of thing. No. We are not interested in that. May I be born again even as a worm, as a roach, right? So long as I am remain as your devotee. Bharat Maharaj, when his mind was trapped in an animal, deer, a little baby deer, he had to come back as a baby deer, right? Antakale cha mamevam smaran mukta kalevaram. When the person is leaving his body, whatever he thinks, that's the kind of birth he is going to achieve in the next birth. So Bharat Maharaj, because of that attachment, he ended up being a deer in the next life. But he remained as a devotee of the Lord. And that is why here it is said, that may I be born again even as a worm, so long as I remain your devotee. And then again, what is important in devotee's life is the devotee association. And what kind of devotee we are talking about, that is singing. Bhukti mukti spruha vinajabhastam. Bhukti mukti spruha vinajabhastam. Labhayat kako sangha anurakta. Labhayat kako sangha anurakta. मान सदे हो गे हो जो कीचु मोर अर्पिलु तू आपद नंद किशोर जनक जाननी दैता तनया जनक जाननी दैता तनया प्रभु गुरुपति तू सर्वमोया प्रभु गुरुपति तू सर्वमोया मान सदे हो गे हो जो कीचु मोर अर्पिलु तू आपद नंद किशोर. What kind of devotees he is writing? I yearn for the company of the devotees, who is completely devoid of all desire for worldly enjoyment or liberation. The devotees, you have to see when you make a friendship of a devotee, what he wants, what's his desire, what is in his mind and heart. He should be completely devoid of all desires for worldly enjoyment or liberation, not even liberation. And that's why we have to read these scriptures. Shrutva dharma vijanati, shrutva papam parityajet, shrutva nirvatate moha, shrutva gnana amritam labhet. When you read this kind of scriptures, what happened? Dharma vijanati. What is your duty and what not? What you should be doing and what you should not be doing. What you should be eating and what you should not be eating. That comes, that's taught through these books, through the scriptures, right? And that's what we are trying to do here by reading. So, Shrutva dharma vijanati, Shrutva papam parityajet. Believe it or no, but as soon as these words goes in your ears, from ears it goes right into your heart and in your mind, in your brain, and your body is no more the same body. All the misdeeds that you did in the past, all the papas, the sinful activities, they are vanquished and you are pure like a gold devotee. So that's what it helps. Shrutva dharma vijanati, Shrutva papam parityajet, Shrutva nirvatate moha. Here the desires are listed. I want to buy a car, I want to buy a house, I want to buy my own charter plane. Yes, you can do that, no problem. As long as you use in service of Krishna, that's all fine. But if you think that you are going to enjoy it, you have to just forget about it. Because when we do the fire sacrifice sometimes, swaha, swaha, you pour the ghee, right? The clarified butter in the fire. And as you keep pouring the ghee inside, the fire is, you see the flame was here, now it comes to here, it's increasing. The fire is increasing instead of decreasing. Similarly, if you want to enjoy for your own gratification, then those desires cannot be quenched. It will increase day by day by day by day. And then you will say, oh my God, how am I going to achieve all these things? There is no limit. But if you want to surrender to Krishna, and even a $1 you put it in a hundi box, that will go with you. They said that Dhanani bhumo pasavascha goste bharya gruhidvare svajana smashane dehaschitayam paraloka marge dharmanugo gacchati jiva eka. When you die, what you are taking? When you go to airport, you have a little suitcase, right? Yes, you can take a suitcase. But what can you take in your suitcase? Dhanani bhumo, wherever your money is, it's going to stay there. Could be in your pocket, it could be in the money, in the bank, or in a locker, or wherever. It's going to stay there. Pashavascha go stay. You may driving Mercedes or Honda, whatever, doesn't care. Even a bicycle. It's going to stay wherever you have parked, it's going to stay there. Bharya gruhidvare. Is your wife is going to join you? Your husband is going to join you? Oh my God, you are dead, I'm going with you. No. Bharya gruhidvare, they will stay home. Yes, they may be miserable, they may miss you, that's okay. But then nobody is going to go with you. Svajana smashane. Oh, I am very popular and I know so many people. Yes, you know people and they love you. At divorce, they will come to wake to your funeral home. Now in the pandemic, they don't even allow more than 10 people. So even that is not going to happen. Svajana smashane. Dehaschitayam, this beautiful body. Oh, I go and jog every day and I exercise and I just become a member of the gym and I swim every day and look at me, I'm building the muscles and start from the breakfast and brunch and lunch and dinner and supper and desserts and wine and liquor and this and that. I eat this and that and vitamin and medications and this. Yes, beautiful body you have, we accept that. But that body is not going to go with you. Chitayam. They will burn down to ashes. They put it in the ground. The worms will eat it. The birds will eat it. The dogs will eat it. Whatever happens with body is going to happen. Dehaschitayam. This body is not going to go with you. No matter how beautiful you are or how much you take care, it's going to leave you alone, right? And paraloka marge, when you go, gacchati jiva eka. Whatever you did for Krishna is going to go with you. That's what it says. And that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur is singing that father, mother, brother, sister, lover, son, lord, preceptor and husband, you are everything to me. Nobody is going to go with you. But Krishna is always with you. Either you are in the material, mortal world or up there in the spiritual sky. Because that's the only reality. The rest of it is like a dream. So, when you lose the father or mother or lover or son, brother, sister, lord, preceptor, husband, wife, right? Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, you have to come to Krishna and say that, well, my real brother is gone, but you are my brother. When your friend dies, say, okay, my buddy is gone, but you are my friend. You are my father. You are my... Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva. Tvameva bandhu cha sakha tvameva. Bandhu means brother. Now you are my brother. Cha sakha tvameva. Right? Tvameva vidya dravidam tvameva. Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Because I know you are the last resource. And that's why I have come to you. So Bhaktivinoda, his beautiful statement is making in here. And he says, Bhakti Vinod kohe sun kana. Bhakti Vinod kohe sun kana. Radha Nath Suhu Hamara Paranam. Radha Nath Suhu Hamara Paranam. Man sade hoge ho jo kichu mor. Arpilu tu aapada Nand Kishore. मान सदे हो गए हूँ जो किछु मोर. अर्पिलु तू आपद नंद किशोर. Thakur Bhaktivinoda says, O Kana, please hear me, O Lord of Radha, you are my life and soul. So this is a very beautiful song and very appropriate because it talks about this particular situation that we are going through. So Krishna is trying to console Arjuna. And he says, my dear friend, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. What he's trying to say? That never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. What it means? That don't think that any of us is just living this world. Nobody is going to go no place. We have been always here. We just changed the body. He says this is like a stage. The material world is like a stage. And somebody becomes a king, and then he's going behind the curtain and he's changing the dress, and he comes back as a hunter. It's a new job he's doing, his new kind of form that he has taken. The hunter will leave the stage, he will go behind the curtain, and he will come as a pujari. Same person. The people who are watching, they won't be able to recognize him. But the director knows. The person who wrote the script, he knows. The people who are playing music, they know. Those who are opening and closing the curtains, they know. The drama party know. Similarly, Krishna knows. And he says, don't worry, Arjuna. None of us are going to die. And even if you see them dying, they are going to come back again in a different form, in different species. But they are all here. So that's what the philosophy is all about. Dehino asmin yatha dehe kaumaram yovanam jara tatha dehantar praptir dirastatrana muhyati. Now it's important because Prabhupada, he met, was one person, Sriman Narayan, he was the ex-governor of Madras, and there was Mr. Bajaj, you know, the Bajaj scooter and motorcycles and cars and all that. So these are very rich people and very top class of people in India, very respectable personalities. So these two people came to see Srila Prabhupada, and they asked him that whether he has any desire, any kind of service that they can fulfill. And Prabhupada says, I had never been to Rishikesh, so can you arrange a trip to Rishikesh? Say, of course, why not? Right away they booked the tickets. Bhakti Charu Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Upendra, and you know, that kind of the people, four people, they bought the ticket, went to Delhi, from Delhi to Rishikesh, and right near the Ganges, they could walk into Ganges, that kind of place. Somebody had a house, very rich person had a house, and they say you can stay there. Prabhupada stayed there. The whole day they were splashing the water in the Ganges and playing games and taking bath and taking dip, eat, drink, enjoy. And also he felt very good. Suddenly one night, big storm came and the electricity went off. No heater or no air conditioning or nothing started working, and pitch dark. Can't even see anybody's face, and nothing you can do about it. And a lot of wind, and it was a disaster. Prabhupada started feeling a little sick, and he called Bhakti Charu Maharaj, and he says, it's time for me to leave the body. Bhakti Charu Maharaj says, no, no, Prabhupada, don't say that. He says, yes, I know. I'm going to leave my body. But I don't want to leave my body in Rishikesh. I would like to go to Vrindavan and leave my body there. So right away, middle of the night, they vacated the house and they went to Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, they had a meeting, and all the devotees came, and this Prabhupada, no, you cannot do that. We will be deserted without you. You are spiritual master. Every footstep we want to have your advice. Please don't leave us, don't go. So Prabhupada said that Dehino asmin yatha dehe kaumaram yovanam jara tatha dehantar praptir dhiras tattana muhyate. That's why I say this verse is very important, because Prabhupada tried to convince us through this particular verse. And it says, as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at time of death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. So Prabhupada consoled us and said he has given us this particular verse, meaning that we have to follow his advice, and whatever happens, the body stays or go, one should not be lamenting. That's why he gave us this verse. And with that understanding, we are going to conclude today's lecture, and we will be singing this Gaur Arti. This is a Sandhya Arti, and Mataji will be offering the incense. Those who are home, listening, looking at Radha Govinda, you can also imitate whatever is being happening in the altar. If you have incense, you can light up the incense, blow the conch shell, and offer the incense. We will be singing. If you have a provision for the ghee lamp, you can offer it home, right? Whenever this program is going on, we always have Radha Govinda with us, and you should be joining and having the paraphernalia ready for you to offer to Radha Govinda. And then she will be offering some water and the hanky, if you have flower or flower petals, and the chamar or peacock feather, any paraphernalia or anything you can offer it to Krishna. Krishna will receive it, and you will be benefited by doing that. So please do that. We are chanting this arti, which is in Bengali, but the meaning of it is say, all glories to beautiful arti ceremony of Lord Chaitanya. This Gaura Arti is taking place in the grove on the banks of Jhanavi, Ganges, and attracting the minds of all living entities in the universe. So it's all about this Arti that we are reading. On Lord Chaitanya's right side is Lord Nityananda, and on his left is Sri Gadadhar. Nearby stands Sri Advaita, and Srivas Thakur is holding an umbrella over Lord Chaitanya's head. So if you have a picture, like we have picture on the left side of the railing, the elliptical frame, it has 5 personalities: Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar Prabhu, and Srivas Thakur. So on Lord Chaitanya's right side is the Lord Nityananda, on his left is Sri Gadadhar, nearby stands Sri Advaita, and Srivas Thakur is holding an umbrella over Lord Chaitanya's head. So that picture is there, but any book, ISKCON book you have, you will have this picture with you. And Lord Chaitanya has sat down on the jewel throne, and the demigods headed by Lord Brahma perform the Arti ceremony. Narhari Sarkar and other associates of Lord Chaitanya fan him with chamar, and devotees headed by Sanjay Pandita. Mukund Dutt and Vasu Ghosh sing sweet kirtan. So we will be trying to be sweet when we sing this particular arti. Conch shells, bells and kartals resound, and the mrudangas play very sweetly. This kirtan music is supremely sweet and relishable to hear. The brilliance of Lord Chaitanya's face conquers millions upon millions of moons, and the garland of forest flowers around his neck shines. Lord Shiva, Shukadeva Goswami and Narada Muni are all there, and their voices are choked with the ecstasy of transcendent love. Thus, Thakur Bhaktivinoda envisioned the glory of Lord Sri Chaitanya. So pretty soon we will be starting the Arti, and meanwhile we will be chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatyadeshitarine. Namaste Saraswati Devam Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshutarine. Shri Radha Govinda Dev ki jai. Ki bajayo jaya Gaura Chandev Aruti Koshobham. Ki bajayo jaya Gaura Chandev Aruti Koshobham. Jhanavi Tatvan Jagamanalobha. Jhanavi Tatvan Jagamanalobha. Dakshina Nitai Chan Pamagadadharam. Dakshina Nitai Chan Pamagadadharam. Nikate Advaita Shreni Vasuchatradhara. Nikate Advaita Shreni Vasuchatradhara. Basi ache Gaurachan Ratna Singhasanam. Basi ache Gaurachan Ratna Singhasanam. Arati Koren Brahma Adideva Gane. Arati Koren Brahma Adideva Gane. Narari Adiko चामर झुलाय हरि आदि कोरी चामर झुलाय संजय मुकुंद बासु घोषादि गाय संजय मुकुंद बासु घोष आदि गाय शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल मधुर मृदंगा बाजे परम रसाला मधुर मृदंगा बाजे परम रसाला शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल बहु कोटि चंद्र जीनी वदन उज्ज्वल बहु Chandra Jini Bhadan Ujjwala Gal Deshevan Mala Kurjal Mala Gal Deshevan Mala Kurjal Mala Shiva Shukra Narada Gada Shiva Shukranarda Brahmagada Bhakti Vinod Dekin Gurar Sampada Bhakti Vinod Dekin Gurar Sampada Ki bajayo jaya Gaura Chande Arsi ko shobham Ki bajaye Jaya Gaura Chande Arti ko shobham Janavi Tatvan Jagman Loba Janavi Tatvan Jagman Loba Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Haraya Namah, Krishna Yadavaya Namah. Hari Haraya Namah, Krishna Yadavaya Namah. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshivaya Namah. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshivaya Namah. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Giridhari Gopinath Madan Mohan. Giridhari Gopinath Madan Mohan. Hari Haraya Namah, Krishna Yadavaya Namah. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshivaya Namah. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Giridhari Gopinath Madan Mohan. Giridhari Gopinath Madan Mohan. Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita. Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita. Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad-gītā. Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad-gītā. Shri Rup Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Shri Rup Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dāsa Raghunath. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dāsa Raghunath. Hariharaya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Hariharaya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshuvaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshuvaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Giridhari Gopinath Madan Mohan. Giridhari Gopinath Madan Mohan. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita. Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad-gītā. Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad-gītā. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe. Jai Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe. Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jai Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jai Giri Govardhan. Jai Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jai Giri Govardhan. Jai Gauranitai, 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 Jai Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. नमो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजाचार्य स्तोत्र सदा भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की है, भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की है, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की है, नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की है। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासिद्धि गौर भक्त वृंद की है, अंतर महापुर धाम की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, समावेद भक्त वृंद की जय, गो प्रेमानंदे, all good spiritual devotees, all good spiritual devotees, all good spiritual devotees, all good to Guru and Gaurang. Namaste Narasimhaya. प्रहलाद लाद दायिन हिरण्यकशिपूर्वक्षराम् शिलचङ्कान् खालाय तो नसिंहो परतो नसिंहो यतो यतोऽमिततो नसिंहो बहिर्नसिंहो हृदये नसिंहो नरसिंहामदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये तव कर कमल वरे नखाम अद्भुत श्रृंगार दालिता हिरण्यकशिपु तानु वृंदा केशवद्रेता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Jai Nrsimhadev, 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 Jai Nrsimhadev. Jai Narahari, 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 Jaya Narahari. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. नरसिंहदेव भगवान की, प्रहलाद महाराज की, श्री राधा गोविंद देव की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की. Thanks for attending. Hare Krishna.
Prayers for my late brother,
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
This is a little something for you.
You know how to close?